Why is the US dollar the most powerful currency in the world? Not because America has the most gold. Not because America has the best economy. Not because the dollar is backed by anything physical at all. The US dollar dominates global finance because of a secret deal made in 1974 between Henry Kissinger and the Saudi royal family. A deal that said all oil sold anywhere in the world must be priced in US dollars. That one agreement, made in private, never formally ratified by Congress, never voted on by the American people, is the foundation of American financial dominance. And understanding it explains almost everything about US foreign policy for the last 50 years, including why America goes to war in the Middle East, including why any country that tries to sell oil in a different currency seems to end up in chaos, including what is really at stake in the conflict with Iran right now. To understand the petrodollar, you first need to understand what happened in 1971. For most of the 20th century, the US dollar was backed by gold. Under the Bretton Woods system established after World War II, every major currency was pegged to the dollar, and the dollar was pegged to gold at $35 per ounce. Any country holding dollars could exchange them for gold at that fixed rate. This gave the dollar its credibility. It was, in theory, as good as gold, but there was a problem. America was spending enormously on the Vietnam War, on the Great Society's social programs, on maintaining its global military presence. It was printing dollars to pay for all of this. And by the early 1970s, America had printed far more dollars than it had gold to back them. Foreign governments noticed. France, under President de Gaulle, famously started demanding gold for their dollars. Other countries were following. Nixon faced a choice. He could slash spending dramatically, raise taxes, accept the economic pain of adjusting the dollar's value, or he could do something radical. On August 15th, 1971, in a Sunday night television address, Nixon announced that the United States was ending the gold standard. The dollar would no longer be convertible to gold. Who's like that? The foundation of the global monetary system was gone. Now America had a problem. Without gold backing, why would the rest of the world accept dollars? Why would foreign governments hold US currency as their reserve asset if it wasn't backed by anything? The answer came from the most valuable commodity on earth: oil. In 1973, the Arab oil embargo had shown the world just how dependent every modern economy was on oil. Without oil, economies stopped. Literally. And most of the world's oil came from one region, the Middle East. And the most important oil producer in that region was Saudi Arabia. Henry Kissinger, Nixon's national security advisor and later Secretary of State, understood the opportunity. If America could get Saudi Arabia to agree to price all of their oil exclusively in US dollars, and to invest their oil revenues in US Treasury bonds, the dollar would have something better than gold backing it. It would be backed by oil, the one commodity every country on earth needed. The deal Kissinger struck with the Saudi royal family had two main components. First, Saudi Arabia would price all oil sales exclusively in US dollars and use its influence with OPEC to ensure other members did the same. Second, Saudi Arabia would invest a significant portion of its dollar oil revenues back into US Treasury bonds. In exchange, America would provide Saudi Arabia with military protection, weapons, security guarantees. The petrodollar system was born, and its implications were extraordinary. Every country on earth that needed to buy oil, which was every country, now needed US dollars to do it. To get dollars, they had to trade with America, or old dollar-denominated assets. Demand for dollars became essentially unlimited. America could print dollars to fund its government spending, and those dollars would be absorbed by a world hungry for the currency it needed to buy energy. The dollar became the world's reserve currency, not because of gold, but because of oil, and because of one secret deal in 1974. Now here's the part that makes this story geopolitically explosive. What happens when a country tries to break the petrodollar system? Saddam Hussein in 2000 announced that Iraq would begin selling oil in euros instead of dollars. 3 years later, America invaded Iraq. Muammar Gaddafi of Libya was working on a plan for a Pan-African gold-backed currency that would allow African nations to sell oil outside the dollar system. In 2011, NATO intervened in Libya's civil war. Gaddafi was killed. Iran has been selling oil in currencies other than dollars For years, to China, to Russia, to India, Iran has been under crippling American sanctions for decades. Is this a coincidence, or is the defense of the petrodollar system a significant, if unstated, driver of American foreign policy in the Middle East? The answer, when you follow the money, seems clear. The petrodollar is the foundation of American financial power. It is why America can run enormous deficits without its currency collapsing. It is why the dollar remains the world's reserve currency decades after gold backing ended. And it is why any threat to that system, from Iraq, from Libya, from Iran, from the BRICS nations trying to build an alternative, tends to be met with the full force of American economic and military power. Understanding the petrodollar is understanding American power. Subscribe to Finance Origins. Follow the money, because the money never lies.